I am a black woman. The music of my song, some sweet arpeggio of tears, is written in a minor key, and I can be heard humming in the night. Can be heard humming in the night. I saw my mate leap, screaming to the sea, and I, with these hands, cupped the life breath from my issue in the cane brake. I lost Nat's swinging body in a rain of tears and heard my son scream all the way from Anzio for peace he never knew. I learned Da Nang and Pork Chop Hill in anguish. Now my nostrils know the gas, and these trigger-tired fingers seek the softness in my warrior's beard. I am a black woman tall as a cypress, strong beyond all definition still, defying place and time and circumstance, assailed, impervious, indestructible. Look on me and be renewed.
Well, great day, everyone. Thank you for joining Project Ready TV. Welcome, everyone. We have come down to another end of the month, and this has been an exciting month, talking and sharing and celebrating about Women's History Month. And today we have a very special guest. I think she's special because she is my mother, Dr. Muriel Anderson, and it is so awesome to be able to have you on today, and welcome to Project Ready TV. Before you introduce yourself, I would like for you guys out there to do me a favor. I would like for you to share this, like this, and comment if you have any questions or want to know anything or join in the conversation. But welcome, Dr. Muriel Anderson. Please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Muriel Anderson, and I was born a long time ago in Jamaica, New York, and I was raised in Detroit, separated from my biological parents and adopted in by my great aunt and uncle, the late Dr. Stephen C. Campbell and Dr. Pauline Campbell. And I grew up as a Campbell in Detroit. And a lot of things transpired while I was there. But nevertheless, I'm here now, been here a good over 40 years now. And this is where God has grounded me. And this is where most of my life began. So that's who I am right about now.
Well, as we wrap up Women's History Month, we've talked about the complete woman, the corporate woman, the artistic woman, and today we're talking about the healed woman, the whole woman, just healing in general. And one of the reasons why we've had you come on today is because you are a woman of faith. Speak to us a little bit about your spiritual background as well as some of your educational background and accomplishments.
Well, my spiritual background started in the place of darkness for me because, as I mentioned before, I was adopted out of a place of darkness where my mom, my biological mom, wasn't able to raise myself and my sister. So we were all split up. And in that process and in that journey, there was a lot of dark things that happened to all three of us. rapings and pushbacks, taunting, even from family, um, labeled uh, retarded, stupid, never going anywhere, those type things. And so that put all of us, well, it was four girls, but I said my three sisters, in a place of unforgiving place, hurt, being battered, feeling like there's no purpose or no future for us. But God, but God. And even as we move from that, and I was trying to find my place, even in the place of being adopted, there were dark moments where I was called that little black gal of Lily's. She's just retarded and used and mocked, even there, even in a place where there were people of power, education, money, but I was left out of most of that because I was just that little black girl of Lily's. And I was placed in, there they call it low track. Here they call it special ed. So I was in that place and nobody understood why I couldn't learn. And I had no one to call out to. And I was in a place of where I grew up in a church with a powerful pastor, Dr. Stephen C. Campbell. And I believed he loved me. I believe they loved me in their own way. But because of where I came from, it kind of put a spot in who they were. That's how I believe. So I was really in a lonely place and I made up my own world. Mm-hmm. And nobody knew that I couldn't read or I couldn't obtain education. So I graduated not knowing those things. And then they tried to put me in a college way down in the South. That's how I ended up in the South. And I couldn't really do anything. And I didn't know to call God, even though I was in a place where I was raised up in a religious place, not a spiritual place, because I couldn't see God. And then I married the first thing that came along. But I got a good gift. I got beautiful children from that, Jules. And then there was abuse that I never understood. And so in that place, I learned how to call on a God that I'd never seen, because I was met some people when I had enough, and I ran to a shelter with my children. And there is where I met my first encounter with a real God. And that's where I realized that I wasn't a piece of junk. So with that being, God showed me that I could learn, that I can do, even at that age. And so he put somebody in my life and said, you know what, you can do anything you want to. And I'm like, at that time, I didn't have a real clean mouth. And I spewed out stuff that you probably wouldn't want to know me if you knew me then. So I said some choice words that I had to look. I was like, God, you know you had me then, because I cursed him from one place to another.
Oh my. And I can't even imagine that, because I never heard you say anything other than God.
And I said, he said, you can learn and I'm going to train you. What? And I cursed him again because I didn't believe that. And so they talked me into taking an entrance exam for Greenville Tech. Lord have mercy. And I was like, okay. And I knew I couldn't pass it. And they couldn't even scale it. It was so low. But he said, if you work with me, we'll get it. And then that's when I went on my knees and I said, God, I'm an embarrassment to my children. I want to learn.
Mm.
And then at that moment, just that moment, the enemy came in and said, you won't do this. And I don't even know how I got this little, I guess it right now, somebody would have probably said this was a toy gun. I put it to my head. I said, I'm better off dead than alive for them. And then I don't know what happened. It looked like the gun fell out my hand. And the Holy Spirit said, if you trust me.
Mm.
And I just cried. And I went on. I failed the test. Of course I did. And I looked at him and I said, if you can help me. And he said, yeah, I'll help you.
So through all the, going through that and being vulnerable enough to ask for help. And I think sometimes that's what we fall short is, asking for the help. So fast forward all these many years, just talk a little bit about your accomplishments. And, we can tie in this conversation as I am the Black woman from the poem that we heard before we started. And, just making sure that we encompass everything, the inside and the outside beauty. But sometimes, I think it's vice versa for some people. Like for some women, they can see the outside appearance. They can see the exterior beauty and all that, but then they have a hard time grasping what's inside of them, or vice versa, or neither one. They can't identify the external beauty, and they can't identify what's inside of them either. So there's all different types of struggles, and healing for people look a lot different. But just touch a little bit on your healing towards everything that you just thought was a failure and how it looks today.
Well, I had to going toward my forwardness and where I am today. Once I accepted the fact that I was in a bad spot and that there were some people that God would put in your path to help you come to the place where your identity now is being put in a place where that is not me, and I want my true identity to show up. So with that being said, as I began to learn and to process and to realize that I was not a seed of nothing, but I had something, the Holy Spirit began to show me, these are the things that you want to do. I've always wanted to teach. I've always wanted to love. And I always tell people, if anybody could have hated, I could. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't God's plan for me. So with all the things, I had to learn to forgive those people. And then I had the most important thing, I had to learn to forgive myself. Even though I didn't feel like I needed to, but I had to release. So out of that, in 6 months' time, I was reading on a college level, because that's where God, he thrust that in me really quick. And don't ask me how. It was because God said, I need you to hurry now. Forget that thing. Do now what I called you to do. So in 6 months' time, I was reading on college level. I was doing college level work. And then I graduated from the University of South Carolina with a bachelor's of science degree in psych and social, which is my heart. And then God said, okay, now we got that. Let's move on. Now I'm giving you the jobs. I got the jobs at United Ministry. I was program director for over 15 years. And he said, in this, now I want you to go and get that master's degree so you can study me. And so I got that master's at Erskine, came out with almost a 4.0. Then I said, God, is this it? So today I have 3 doctorates.
Tell
and one being in a doctorate of divinity, the next one a PhD in Christian education, because that's where my heart is. I like for people to know and understand that they can grow in every way God purposed them to be. And then I just got the last one, and I haven't had the graduation yet, but I have a doctorate of education, because that's truly, and I'm saying it's not for people, but it's for me to understand that God will do just what he said that he would do for you if you stay the course. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't easy. It was hard because I had to remember that I had children that had to be taken care of. I had a husband that claimed that I was nothing but a professional student, and I saw him on the whims, and then some nights he would see me. I would be up all night long. He would sit there and work with me, fussing sometime and say, go to bed. But I had to get it until I began to understand that God is so faithful to me. I had to be faithful. I had to get this proof. I had to let other people know that whatever it is that's in you will come out if you allow it to. So,
right.
And that's what I have to say to people. If you want it, you can have it.
And on top of all of that, you know, you love education and you love people so much. You are a pastor and you are a founder of a Bible college and seminary. But we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But I do want to ask you, being a spiritual woman of faith, how do you see the role of faith in the life of a woman? And I think you kind of hit on that a little bit, but just touch on that a little bit more. And then I want you to talk about, give some encouraging words to our middle and high school students that may their picture, their life may mirror a little bit of what you've discussed today.
Okay. Well, being a woman of faith is that you're gonna have to develop a prayer life. You have to do that. Every time you get up, you have to acknowledge him. Like, God, what is it that you want me to do in this day right here? What can I accomplish today? Even though we understand that every day is not going to be the greatest day, but even in what didn't get accomplished in that day, still say, God, thank you. Because you have to learn from where it didn't quite line up the way you thought it would be. It was still the correct day, because out of the failure turns success, if you can see it that way. And so that's what has kept me, is my ability to thank God even when it didn't turn out as well as I thought it would be. Even when I couldn't see that things were going to make the ends meet, God was always there on time for me. And he will for anybody else too. I had to learn to read the word and understand that everything in the word pointed to where God wanted me to go. Every issue that I had, I saw it. I saw it in the Psalms, even with the struggles and the fights with David. I saw myself. I saw the struggles with Moses. I saw me being a Moses. And I definitely saw me being a Deborah. That's where God called me from Judges, how he set this woman not only to be a judge, she was a priest, she was a prophet. He said, that's you. And he said, and then the humility that she had. So this is what kept me going when I understood. And then when I learned that even when we walked all the way over into the New Testament, I saw myself in a Paul. I saw myself in a John, and especially John, how he loved God, how he loved Jesus, and how those disciples walked with him, and even in their conflicts and their struggles of learning who they were in him, Jesus never walked away from them. He always pulled them. He always, even in his chastising, he showed them where they were more than enough and greater. So that's how I got my strength. And then for these young people, middle schoolers and high schoolers, begin to dream. Dream. Who do you want to be? Stop allowing people to take your dream away from you. If you want to be a dancer, don't let anybody move that out of you, because God needs dancers too. If you want to be a physician, your blackness have nothing to do with the purpose God put in you. Have a desire to fight for what you want. When that word says, take it by a violent force, it doesn't mean to fight people. It means to bring up a fight in you. That I can do this. I'm going to show you better than I can tell you.
I love it.
So this is what he meant by when he said, you can take it by a violent force. That means I'm going to put the energy in it. I'm going to tell myself I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that doesn't mean you can do everything out there. That means whatever he purposed, that's what you're going to be able to do. But you have to stay faithful to it. You have to be determined. When conflicts come, you can't run to it. You have to fight. You have to find those people who will encourage you. Stay away from those naysayers, those negative vibes. And you have to speak to yourself. I can do it. I know I can. Show me how. Connect me with those people. When I was in college, I always ran with the ones that made the A's, y'all. You know, I latched myself with them. When they said that they were staying up all night, I stayed up too.
That's good. That's good. That's good advice. Stay around the positive people. But before we go, I want you to also maybe include the fact that it's okay to speak to someone. We believe in God, whatever your beliefs are. But, on this platform today, we're talking about the woman of faith. So however you incorporate that in your life, but it's also okay to speak to a counselor, to see a therapist, to work your way through those challenges that you might be facing. And we're definitely going to have a part 2 of this. We're already talking about having you come back on for Mother's Day, but as we're growing up in our different environments, transferring of fear, because we've had to have that conversation as mother-daughter, and transferring of, different things that, our mothers, our fathers struggled through can definitely transfer to children. And I think that's an important topic that we can bring up next time. But, I've had to fight my way through. I haven't always loved people. I haven't always loved myself. I haven't always loved the things that was the road ahead of me. But now, because of your continual faith and being around you and being around a positive person and running with you and just seeing who you are and who God has created you to be and continue to allow you to do, it has started to turn in me, shift some things in me. I definitely have not looked the same as I did even a year or two ago. Because you have to stop fighting the battle. You have to stop fighting the people, and fight that challenge and get your way through. So just encourage the people just 1 second and tell them that, how it's okay to talk to people that's for you in your corner, like professionally.
Yes, I had to go to a counselor myself to wipe away some of the past issues. So I encourage anybody, if you know that you can't fight this by yourself, get somewhere quick and allow yourself to be able to empty out so that you can be poured in too, so that you can truly be strong enough to do what you were fashioned and designed to do. Never be afraid to allow yourself to loosen up and to speak to somebody that can truly help you. But make sure that you're going to the right person.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always a good thing to spew out to anybody, but allow yourself to get to good positive energy and know that once you empty out, you can receive the things that will bring you joy and peace and comfort and allow you to love again. It will. That's the most important thing, is to be able to love beyond yourself.
Well, I love you, Mom, and I'm trying not to cry, but I appreciate everything that you have done for us and how you, you just made us priority and made yourself priority so that we can be a priority, so that we can give back to our community and give back to others. So you continue to show me and teach me, give me nuggets every day. Y'all, I talk to her every morning. Only time we don't talk is if one of us are on vacation or whatnot, but we still might text. But every day it's a phone call, it's a word of encouragement still to this day. And I'm thankful for that because I know everybody does not get that. But I'm so proud of you and all of your accomplishments. We don't say it enough, but she is Bishop Muriel Anderson, Dr. Muriel Anderson of Holy Ground Church of Deliverance here in Greenville. And she is also the founder of Higher Ground Christian Development Bible College and Seminary, where I too just received my doctoral degree in organizational leadership. And I haven't said that much, but today it felt right to say it. Because now you see where it all comes from. And I will also be remiss of saying that I love Paul Anderson Sr. as well, because he is a big part of this picture. And so although we are celebrating women, sometimes we cannot do that without celebrating the fathers as well. So before we end, I do want to say thank you to all that came on to celebrate Women's History Month. Again, this is not a 1 month thing. You can do this 365 days. But before we get off, I would like to celebrate all the women here at the Urban League of the Upstate. And the following goes, Diane McDill, she is our CFO. Kim Arnold, she's our Senior Operations Manager and Program Manager. Miko Hendricks, she's our Program Manager for 21st Century. Jewette Tomlin, she's our Coordinator for TPP. Dot Lampkin, she's our Property Manager for Gandy. Misty Wright, she's our Senior Service Coordinator for Gandy 1. Miriam Burgess, she's our coordinator for Project Ready. Jean Verdon, she's our program manager for housing. Charlene Jones, director of TPP, and Tedra Coakley, our coordinator for TPP. So thank you all for tuning in today. I know we went over a little longer, but today was very special to me. Thank you, Dr. Anderson, for visiting us and just giving us some good wisdom today. I love you. And I hope that you all out there have a great day. And whatever you do, just do it on purpose and go be great. Till next time. Bye-bye.